Mr. Weezer is not here today. Mr. Labange is busy doing space shuttle related things. So today's meeting will basically be whatever action that's taken today will be a communique from the chair. So let us start. We've got cards, one card for both items. I know item 1 has been continued, but I do hope to move on item 2. But Madam Clerk, if you could just read the first agenda item, even though it's been continued.
Certainly. Item number 1 is a report from the Chief Legislative Analyst and a resolution, Koretz Englander, relative to establishing the city's position to support Proposition 37, the California Right to Know Genetically Engineered Food Act, which would mandate the disclosure of genetically engineered foods.
Okay, so Mr. Englander seconded that. Okay, I do have a person that would like to speak on that item. That item is not before us, so I will afford this person the opportunity to come and speak as if it were just general public comment. So if you, is it Ida? Ida, come on down, please. Oh, you're on both of them. Okay. All right, well, read the second item, so you might as well start making your way down here.
And today's second item is a motion from Englander Reyes relative to requesting the city attorney to report on creating and enforcing city regulations that would prohibit violent felons and sex offenders from running for any city elected office.
Okay. Before I let my friend and colleague speak, Ida, we'll go to you, and if you could just state your name for the record, because I don't want to botch your last name, so I'm not even going to try. I'll let you do that.
Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity to talk and be here. I think the agenda item is extremely timely. My name is Ida Talala. I live in the Echo Park area, and I am talking because I am very familiar with the neighborhood council, have also served on the neighborhood council, and been very disappointed with what I experienced. I also feel that Department of Neighborhood Empowerment has been extremely lax and now call themselves Empower LA. What are you empowering? I also follow things very closely, even though I'm a senior, and have been told that I am old and that I am bitter and I am worthless by the neighborhood council. However, I have found a report here, not a report, but a promo piece by the lawyer who defended the former bank chairman on a charge that was recently heard. This is what the lawyer said. In a federal child pornography case involving possibly the largest collection of child pornographic pictures and videos ever seized, negotiated a settlement that saved the client from a jail sentence and resulted in home detention despite sentencing guidelines, prosecutor, probation officer, all pushing for a sentence of many years in person. I'll finish. I ask that the 95 neighborhoods which are under the charge of the neighborhood council be looked at and that done be investigated, because in all cases it has been proven that people knew things well ahead of the game, and with Dunn and neighborhood councils not having grievances procedures, silencing stakeholders when they have brought legitimate concerns is a grave concern of mine. And I beg this committee to look into this matter with grave seriousness. I thank you for
No, thank you, Ida, and thank you for your service to the city of Los Angeles. Thank you. Mr. Englander.
Thank you, Chairman, Mr. President, Your Honorable
Friend.
This motion came about because we had several neighborhood council members interested in running that we understood it was brought to our attention by several members of the community, had long rap sheets of being violent, convicted felons, as well as some that were, in fact, registered sex offenders from child molestation. And in thinking about this, really wanted to capture the idea that any elected official, appointed official, commissioner, neighborhood council member, anybody walking around with a city business card, anybody representing us should not have that in their past. That we should set the bar. We should have examples, but we should also keep in mind that we're there to protect the public and ensure that folks are safe in our community. And if you're representing the city, you certainly may have access to individuals if you misrepresent yourself as a member of the city family. So it was really in an interest to protect folks. And in talking to the city attorney's office and meeting with them, and learning the history of what we currently have on the books as well as the state of California, things have changed a little bit in what I'm asking for. And that's because we do speak to it in the charter in terms of convicted felons holding public office and commission appointments. And therefore, the one thing we do not speak to in the charter at all are the neighborhood councils, because they weren't mentioned in terms of that particular section of the charter. And so what I'd ask is that we do something by ordinance and have then amend this motion to include a lifetime ban of anybody that has been convicted of a violent or sexual crime from serving on a neighborhood council. And I think that's fair and reasonable. And the other thing I wanted to share with you quickly is that I was leaving the house this morning, and my daughter was rushing off to school and asked if I can help her at least go through some of her notes to study for a test she was taking. I said, well, I've actually got to run downtown. Mom can help you this morning, but I've got to go testify to a committee. She said, oh, is it a motion that you wrote? And I said, it is. She said, oh, what's it about, Dad? I said, well, it's actually, and I explained to her that we're trying to pass a law that we don't have violent felons or sexual offenders serving in public office in the city of LA. And she said, I'm sorry, you're kidding me, right? You're going down to speak on that? Isn't that sort of assumed? I mean, you don't actually have that as a law, that these folks can't, specifically these kinds of people can't serve? I said, well, no, not in that kind of detail. She said, wow, I would assume that is assumed. Okay, yes, that's important. So in any event, that's where we're at today, and I ask for your support in that ordinance and bringing that to council.
Okay, let me ask the city attorney if she'd come forward. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good, thank you. Valerie Flores, Assistant City Attorney.
Okay. Explain to me what the rules are where it relates to city electeds, and is there a lifetime ban?
No, Council President. Currently, the charter provides that no person may seek elective city office or be appointed as a commissioner if within the past 5 years they've been either convicted of a felony or other serious offense involving conflict of interest or government ethics.
Does it speak to sex offenders at all?
Well, I believe those would be felonies, so it would be included.
But it doesn't actually say that, or
No, it would
does
be
it?
any felony, including
Okay.
sexual
So we just assume
offenses.
that, okay.
Right. There is another provision in the charter that actually provides that if a elected official is convicted while in office of either a felony or a serious offense involving government ethics or perjury, that the office is deemed vacated. So there's two ways the charter addresses it. One, a ban on candidacy if there's been a conviction within the last 5 years prior to the candidacy, or the vacation of the office if an elected official is convicted while in office.
Thank you. Mitch, why don't we just make it identical?
Tell you what, two things. One, we do have state law now that makes a lifetime ban that was passed by the legislature on felonies for holding office. But number two, there's a different type of public vetting for elected officials that are running for office. There's much more extensive background, obviously. There are no secrets, as we all know, for individuals' history, and particularly as it pertains to something so serious. And with neighborhood councils, we often, quite frankly, don't know who a lot of these folks are. There are, in some instances, and it's sad, very, very few people that participate in neighborhood council elections. And so they certainly don't have that type of public vetting, and we just don't know. So I think it's...
So let's do this. Let's move this out of committee as is, but let you and I have some further discussions. Has this been set for council yet?
There is no date been scheduled.
Okay, so we'll take this up relatively soon, but you and I can talk more. On the face, I do support what it is that you're doing, but also a part of me also believes in second chances as well as redemption. I mean, this country is about second chances. So why don't you and I further our discussion, but I will move this out as a communique from the chair as written.
Great, thank you.
Okay? So let it be written.
As
So
written.
let it be done. Yeah,
Oh, I was just asking for a clarification whether you're moving the amended motion to deal with neighborhood councils, because the other aspects of the motion would require a charter change. So
That's why I'd asked for the amendment.
So then we'll move it out as amended.
okay, great. Thank you for the
Okay.
clarification.
All right. Is there any more business before this committee?
There are no speaker cards.
This committee's adjourned, and again, Ida, thank you so much for coming. It was a pleasure to meet you.